This is the day that the Lord has made.
Let us rejoice and be glad in it.
Please join me in a word of prayer. The Lord Almighty, O God, we called the prophet Jeremiah, saying, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, and before you were born, I consecrated you." And Holy God, we thank you for the lives of these students, each known and loved, even before they were born. We pray to you that they are consecrated by you to purposes we could not imagine so many years ago. God created all people in the image of the divine, in the image of God. Women and men were made in God's own hand. We recognize these students as your children, bearing your image. Their compassion and their creativity mark them as men and women of God, sharing in their Creator's likeness. The philosopher reminds us that for everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. And, O God, we thank you that you have brought us to this day of rejoicing, a day to remember their journey, a day to pause and to look both to the past and to the future. Mordecai saw God's potential in his adopted daughter and told her, "Who knows, perhaps you have come to world dignity for such a time as this. Well, Lord, we know that you have great things in store for the future. We cannot imagine the future to which you are calling them, but we are confident in your ability to use every gift in your own time and for the purposes of your kingdom." God instructed the Israelites to share the story of their salvation, saying, "It is because of what the Lord did for me when I came out of Egypt." Their celebration serves as a sign on the hand and as a reminder on the forehead, so that the teaching of the Lord may be on every lip. For with a strong hand the Lord brought them out of Egypt. And, O Lord, let this Baccalaureate remind us of your strength, O God, in bringing these people of faith through trial and difficulty. Let it be a sign of your eternal goodness and our unending gratitude. Jesus told his disciples, "If any want to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For those who want to save their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake will find it. For what will it profit them if they gain the world but forfeit their life?" O Lord, for this day, loving God, we ask you to strengthen each one here to follow you, and whatever path may best serve you. Guide these young men and women as they seek to find their lives by losing them in you. No merciful and gracious God, hear our prayers for these your children. And may this time of remembrance be a blessing to each one here. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Good evening. I'm Dave Wesley, and I have the privilege of serving as Randolph-Macon Academy's president in her 127th year, almost to the end of that period. Let me begin by welcoming the brand new Winchester District Superintendent, the Reverend Steve Summers. Steve, thank you for being here. And welcome to you all. This is the 5th time I've participated in this service. As much as I enjoy it, it really is the beginning of a series of goodbyes. Goodbyes that will be made irrelevant by returns to campus as alumni, but for the next couple of days, several ways to say goodbye. This one begins where they begin. No matter what grade an RMA student started in, when they reach the high school, their first Monday began with chapel. And it's an important part, not only of our Monday, but of our weekly life. There's deep significance, as Chaplain Earl has already said. And if they're like me, they'll find there will be days ahead. They'll need to call on the lessons they learned in this great building. We're so glad our families are here to enjoy the events of the next couple of days. Just a couple of points of reference. There'll be an award ceremony tomorrow at 10. There's a senior luncheon at 12. And our final parade at 2. As a reminder, graduation is on Saturday, beginning at 10 a.m. in the gym right across the road. Please enjoy your time with us and know that we're as proud of your children as you are. Thank you so much for being here. Please rise for the call of the Lord.
Today is a gift from God, gathered on the edge of a milestone. We offer to God what we have to give, ourselves and the stirrings of our hearts and minds. Let us bless God.
Let us be God.
Now, as graduates, can we join together and say this? Strange, surreal, like a high peak, where we can look back over the way we have come and ahead to where we have not yet walked. Exciting, scary, we're ready. God is with us wherever we go.
Let us be God.
Now, for the parents and family members and friends, say the next part.
Where is God? Suddenly the days have come down. His Lord's work. Our hearts are beating with
Blessed be God.
And now on to faculty.
We did our job, teaching, approaching, mentoring, encouraging, hope that they would not only learn to hassle, but believe in themselves, gifted, lovable people who are contributors in the world and needs them. Our prayers are with you wherever you go. Blessed be God. How good it is, Holy Spirit, to share this moment, grateful, alive, feeling whole, and entering into the rest of our lives. Thank you for this milestone. Blessed be God.
I invite you to remain standing as we sing our opening hymn, God of the Ages, found in your hymnal in the back of the pews on page 698.
God.
be able to worship with our seniors one last time. So many of them have been so key to helping us continue to improve our chapel. So, Samson, one last time, lead us in our cadet prayer.
Can you join me in saying the cadet prayer? Lord, God of hosts, my life is a stewardship in your sight. Grant the light of your wisdom to the path of my heart and days. Instill within me an abiding awareness of my responsibility towards you, my country, and my fellow man. I ask true humility that knowing self, I may rise above human frailty. I ask courage that I may prove faithful to duty beyond self. I ask unfailing devotion to personal integrity that I may ever remain honorable without compromise. Make me an effective instrument of your peace, so guide me daily, each thought, word, and deed, that I may fulfill your will. May these graces abide with me, my loved ones, and all here this day. Amen.
You may be seated.
Our scripture reading is taken from Daniel 1, verses 3 to 20. And it says, Then the king commanded his palace master Ashpenaz to bring some of the Israelites of the royal family and of the nobility, young men without physical defect and handsome, versed in every branch of wisdom, endowed with knowledge and insight, and competent to serve in the king's palace. They were to be taught the literature and the language of the Chaldeans. The king assigned them a daily portion of the royal rations of food and wine. They were to be educated for 3 years, so that at the end of that time they could be stationed in the king's court. Among them were Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah from the tribe of Judah. The palace master gave them other names. Daniel he called Belteshazzar, Hananiah he called Shadrach, Mishael he called Meshach, and Azariah he called Abednego. But Daniel resolved that he would not defile himself with the royal rations of food and wine. So he asked the palace master to allow him not to defile himself. Now God allowed Daniel to receive favor and compassion from the palace master. The palace master said to Daniel, I am afraid of my lord the king. He has appointed your food and your drink. If he should see you in poorer condition than the other young men of your own age, you would endanger my head with the king. Then Daniel asked the guard, whom the palace master had appointed over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, please test your servants for 10 days. Let us be given vegetables to eat and water to drink. You can then compare our appearance with the appearance of the young men who eat the royal rations, and deal with your servants according to what you observe. So he agreed to his proposal and tested them for 10 days. At the end of the 10 days, it was observed that they appeared better and fatter than all the young men who had been eating the royal rations. So the guard continued to withdraw the royal rations and the wine they were to drink, and gave them vegetables. To these 4 young men, God gave knowledge and skill in every aspect of literature and wisdom. Daniel also had insight into all visions and dreams. At the end of the time that the king had sent for them to be brought in, the palace master brought them into the presence of Nebuchadnezzar, and the king spoke with them. And among them all, no one was found to compare with Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore, they were stationed in the king's court. In every matter of wisdom and understanding concerning which the king inquired of them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and enchanters in his whole kingdom. This is the word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
and that's how we read Matthew verse 5, verse 14 through 16. You are the light of the world. A city built on a hill cannot be hid. No one, after lighting a lamp, puts it under the bushel basket, but on the lampstand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven. This is the word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
Moving to a new place isn't easy, especially when you're forced to go there. No, seniors, I'm not talking about when we first started here at RMA, so you might be thinking about that. Some of you know that this was not the place that you chose. Here you are now at the end. I'm actually talking about Daniel, the story that Samson read for us about Daniel and his journey where he was taken from his homeland to Babylon. Now, normally when we talk about Daniel in the scriptures, most of the time we think of Daniel and the lions. That's one of the more famous stories. Now, that might have been an appropriate topic as we think about the fact that many of you seniors might just have felt you've been thrown to the lion's den with exams the past week or so, and yet you've come out on top. Or it also would be appropriate in the fact that this year we performed The Lion King. And so I thought about having Colonel Jones dress up as Mufasa again, so we could act out, Daniel the Lion's Den, but we'll get to that part of the story in just a little bit. Tonight we're going to start with, well, not Daniel in the den, but Daniel in the diet, if you will, where Daniel and his friends are taken from their home, from the familiarity of their food, language, family, friends, and where they worship God. They're taken to this new place, and they have to look out and have to think about all of the newness and all of the challenges that they will face. Now, I'm sure some of you seniors can think back to when you first came here to RMA. Maybe you had some of that as well. This is a new place. There's so much going on here. How do I fit in and find my place? But tonight, I want you to begin to look towards the future, to look towards where you will be going. And you might, as you sit in this chapel for our last time at a worship service setting, I want you to think about how RMA has actually been your home, your place that is familiar, your place where you have friends, this place where now you have family. Remember the first chapel service that I did here 5 years ago. The special music that day was by Philip Phillips. I want to make this place your home. And I acknowledge these seniors that this place has become a home a little bit. Yeah, it's got its ups and downs. Yeah, it's not perfect. So this is a place that hopefully is giving you a strong foundation as you prepare to take your steps away from here in the next couple of days. And it's only 2 days. Can I get an amen? Amen. That's it? Can I get an amen? Amen. All right, at least get one amen tonight. 2 days away, right? We're excited for you. All right, but as you prepare to step into this newness, I want you to listen to this story about Daniel as he steps into this new place. Now, obviously, they're different. Hopefully, you're not being sent to exile, wherever you're going. Right? You are excited about the next steps ahead of you. But for Daniel and his friends, they had to figure out quickly how to adjust and how to make it in this new setting. You see, they had been chosen to be a part of this class, if you will, a 3-year class, to learn all about Babylon and wisdom and literature, to learn its language and its culture. And I think they were wise in the fact that they didn't rebel against that. They said, we want to learn about where we are now. They weren't at home anymore, but they wanted to learn a new language. And I think that's what we need to do too. I thought I might get an amen from our local language department. Learning a new language, good thing? All right. Excellent. All right, so wherever you go, it's important for you to learn about the place that you're going to. Whether it's a job, or whether it's a university or college, whether and opinions heard, rather than to listen to someone else, rather than to learn the culture of the people that they are interacting with. So I want to encourage you, wherever you go, to take time to get to know people, to get to learn the culture and the language, and to learn the difference. You should be well prepared for this here, having been here at Randolph-Macon. We have lots of diversity, lots of difference from religion to a nationality. And so it's my hope that as you go, that you might begin to learn to really see people as people, to listen to them, to not care necessarily about what you have to say right away, but to listen to where people are. You don't know what people are going through, what challenges they might be facing in their lives. So I encourage you, like Daniel and his friends that went and they decided to learn first, to go and learn, to go and listen, to go and care for people, to see each person that you meet as a person. Right? You remember the chapel where we had you point to that you're a person? Right? That's what it's about. To see each person that you interact with as a person, not an object that's on your way to success, but as someone who is, as we talked about, cognitive, a child of God, a person of worth, no matter where they might come from or whatever struggles they might be having. And you see, Daniel and his friends had this approach throughout their entire time there in Babylon. They were there trying to rebel and fight against the Babylonians. They were there to listen and support, and through that, they were able to rise, to be able to have fluent influence, even over the king. Because they sat and they listened and they learned and they saw people as people. Daniel respected those that were in authority and allowed him to rise to power. Now, this was challenged right away. As they went and as they were part of this cohort of learners, they were asked to eat the food that the king would eat, which would sound pretty awesome, right? They were given the royal wine. They were given as much food as they could want as a part of this special group that was being groomed to be advisors to the king. But this was a problem for Daniel and for his friends. You see, if they were to eat of this food and drink of this drink, they would be turning away from what they had been taught. As men who were Jewish, they were taught that there were certain types of food that they were not supposed to eat. There were certain dietary restrictions that helped them remain and be God's people. So to eat the food might not seem like a big deal, but to them it would be turning their back not only on who they were, but on their people and on their God. And also it's probable that this food would have been offered to Babylonian gods. And so they decided to take a stand. To stand for what they thought was right. To stand up for what they believed in. Now they didn't go about doing it in a rebellious way. In fact, they actually talked with the guard and said, what we really need to eat is vegetables and we need to be drinking water. And the guard was like, well, if you guys end up looking really sickly and unhealthy, it's going to be my head on the chopping block, literally. And so Daniel respects the person that's in charge of him and makes a deal. He says, all right, just give us 10 days. Just 10 days and we'll eat vegetables and drink water, and then let's see how we're doing. Right? If we're looking pathetic, then we'll go back and we'll eat what we need to eat. But if we're looking strong and fit, then let us live out our faith and live out our beliefs and values in this land that was holy. And so they were able to do that. And guess what? After 10 days, they were looking pretty good. They were looking way better than all of the others. And God saw their faithfulness. And God lifted them up and gave them wisdom and power. And Daniel did this again out of respect. Now, I know some of you seniors might say, Chaplain, why are you telling us a story about Daniel and his diet? Well, I'm glad you asked. Our DS knows that's for Bishop Lewis, who was supposed to be here tonight. That's one of her favorite tactics in her sermons that she uses. And she's not able to be with us, and she's on medical leave, so I missed her. So that one was for her to pay respect to her being here. But you might be wondering what's going on. And no, I'm not trying to preach this sermon to help you avoid the freshman 15. No, if you drink water and you eat vegetables, that probably will go a long way to helping you out. What I want to do tonight is I'm going to encourage you to stand firm in what you believe, to stand firm in who you are and what we have taught you here. But most importantly, to stand firm as who you are. That each of you are created as children of God and have been given amazing gifts and abilities. And we are so excited for you to leave this place. Amen, faculty? Amen. But we're really excited about what you're going to do and where you're going to go. So I just wanted to share this passage because I think it serves as encouragement, but also as a warning that it's really important for us to stand firm on what we believe. You see, we live in a world that is very fickle. Right, where people will give up their values, their beliefs, just for fun, or for fortune, or for fame, or maybe just even to fit in. And you're going to be given lots of opportunities, right, to make those decisions that actually betray who you are and who your parents and family members and faculty and staff have invested in you and help you realize who you are and just how amazing you are and how you can do some amazing things in this life if you live out this purpose. And so we want you to take a stand for what you believe in and to stay with it. Now, we know, I want to be real with you for a moment, right, that when it comes to making wise decisions, right, that there are some of your class that are not in this room right now because they didn't make wise decisions. They made poor choices. They didn't stand firm in what is important, what integrity and character is. We miss them. We love them. And we pray for them that they will learn and they will make better decisions in the future. And we're thankful that we have a God who gives us many chances to be able to try to get things right. So we miss them, but I also want all of us to hear the importance that as you make this next step in your life, that you learn the importance of standing firm on what you believe. And I've seen it in our time together. Some of you I've seen since middle school and have been your chaplain since then, all the way the past couple of years. And I've seen you sometimes make a stand for what you believe in. Right? Whether that's for some of you, we have several Muslim students that are seniors that are fasting right now as a part of Ramadan, right, during the daylight hours, which is really intense. And some of them even beat us in soccer today, and are still holding true to their fast, right? So we're proud of the stand for what you believe in. Proud of you when you make a stand to dedicate such time and energy to the different opportunities we have here. You got any two-time state champions from drill team in here, right? That's taken a lot of hard work and effort in order to see that through. Right? We've had people that have put on amazing plays, chorus, right? All the things around here. Many times it causes you to make a stand, right? Am I going to choose to waste my time, or am I going to choose to do the best that I can, to use the gifts that God has given me to be able to bless and to serve others? And so we're proud of you for the stands that you have made here. But a lot of these are easy compared to what's coming down the road. And so we want to make sure that you have a foundation that is strong, that is firm, that will help you in those times of difficulty and weakness. Some of you will remember the image of the iceberg that you've heard me preach about a couple of times. Right? How much of the iceberg is above the surface? 10%. 10%, right? So you might have the looks, the grades, the communication skills, the resources, everything that you might want on the outside. But if you don't live with integrity and character, make right and good decisions, you might find yourself adrift. You might not reach the destination that you thought. You might find out you lose a lot of respect. And you're actually not meeting anybody along the way. I mean, just think of a couple examples of this, right? We can go in a couple different directions, right? Sports, right? Think of baseball, right? Is there anyone that has knowingly done performance-enhancing drugs that's been put into the Hall of Fame? No. No one's been voted in yet. Now, they might have had success on the field, right? But at the end of the day, they didn't have the integrity to play the game the way it's supposed to be played, right? And they're paying the consequences for it. Or look at the numerous corporations, right, that make decisions that are more about the bottom line than about people. And many of them, because of corruption, are bankrupt. Or think more recently, and I know this impacts even you as seniors, right, about fake applications or fake acceptance letters into schools. All right, you've done the hard work to get in to some amazing schools, right? And others are trying to cheat the system, right? And when they're found out, they probably could have gotten into some good schools, but now they lost it all. People that looks like they have it all many times, lose everything when they sacrifice their integrity and their character for fame or fortune or fitting in. So we don't want that to be you. We want you to build that 90% that's below the surface, where you have character and integrity. We try to instill those values in each of you, whether it's through chapel or through our RTC department, from the number of classrooms. We want you to learn to live your life with character and integrity, to be able to make a difference. It's going to be difficult and challenging at times. But like Daniel and his friends, they had to make a stand. And then their stand wasn't only about what they were eating. Because later on, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were asked to bow down and worship an idol, which was against their faith. And they said no. And they were thrown into a fiery furnace. A little later, Daniel is not supposed to pray to God anymore because of the decree of the king. He's only supposed to pray to the king. But he is caught praying to his God, keeping his values. He's taking a stand and he is thrown into the lion's den. It's not easy to take a stand. It may be challenging, it may be difficult. But if you are faithful to God, faithful to your family, faithful to your friends, faithful to what you believe, I know that God will be faithful to you, and you will have people that will be there to support you when you make sometimes the unpopular decision, but to make the right decision in your life. Thankfully, we know that God saw both Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, all three of them, even though they were thrown into the fiery furnace. God saw them through the fire. They did not even have a singe of hair burned from their head. And we know that Daniel, when he was in the lion's den, the mouth of the lions were shut. God was faithful to them as they stood firm in what they believed. Now, one last aspect of this story that's so important is that Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they didn't do it alone. They had people that were there to support them. They had community that they could live a truthful life, a life of foundation and purpose. And you have a family here. Whether you're sitting with your family or sitting with friends, you have people around you that are here to support you, to help you make the right decisions. But you're about to go off to a new place, whether that's work or a military or college, and you're going to feel alone at some point in your journey. And you're going to be tempted to do things just to fit in. But I encourage you, when you go somewhere, find people that will help make you a better person. People that will lift you up. A community that will help you stand strong in what's important in life. Go and find those people, whether they're part of a faith community or whether they're part of a service project. Go and find the community people that will help you in your life journey. That doesn't just apply to college. That goes for anywhere you are in life. People that will look after you, support you through all of life's ups and downs. We want you to stand firm. We know the journey ahead is not easy. We know we live in a world that is wishy-washy, where people will sell and surrender their values just to get a like on social media. But thankfully, you have a family here, a support system, and people that want to see you leave this place and succeed. Most importantly, we have a God who loves each and every one of us. And all of you belong, and all of you have a purpose. And I believe that no matter what happens in life, that God's presence will be there for you along the journey. And if you are faithful to who you are and your beliefs, I know God will be faithful to you. And guess what? Even when you mess up, not if, but even when you make mistakes, even when you fall short, we have a God of grace, a God who loves us, and God who gives us new mercies every single morning. He gives us strength for each and every day. So I invite you in your journey forward to receive that good news, to receive that hope whenever you might need it, when you need that little extra ounce of strength. Know that you've got family here, and you have a God who loves you, that can help you stand firm. When it's easy to look and do something that is not within who you are. So we need you. Our world needs you. To not just give in, to be blown around like the wind, blows a leaf, but to stand firm on the foundation that you have built here at our home. To stand firm on the hope that we have a God who loves us. Seniors, stand firm.
Praise God.
Amen. When you're in college and you're studying, you can just post it right there on your desk as a reminder of what this place has meant to you, and that we have so many people that are here praying for you and hoping for the best for you as you prepare to go forward. Last year, I was blessed with the opportunity to go to the Holy Land, and I was able able to go to Mount Nebo, where Moses would have had his last kind of experience with God, where he was able to look out over and see the promised land, even though he wasn't able to go in because of mistakes that he had made along the way. I didn't think about it at the time, but I was thinking about it as preparing for this sermon, that that's probably the route, pretty close, where Daniel and them would have been taken from Jerusalem. Right, they were there. They had lived and grown up in the city on a hill. Right, the original, the OG, city on a hill. And yet, when they were taken away to a new place, they were able to be light where they were. So, seniors, Falcons, right, as you have been a part of us here at Randolph-Macon Academy, city on a hill, it's our hope that as you leave, that the light doesn't go out, but that you carry the light that you have fostered here and have developed here to wherever you go. That you can be a blessing and you can serve others wherever you are. I want you to receive this blessing. Graduating class of 2019. Sounds pretty good, though. May you have the commitment to go into the world being led by the great spirit of hope and imagination, to see the gifts and achievements that the Almighty Creator calls out of you. May you have the courage to live your impossible dreams so that they will become possible. May you have the courage not to look back, because you are confident that the source of all creation will use you in a mighty way for the purpose to which you are called. As you go forth, put into practice the accumulated knowledge that you have achieved. Go forth with your head in the clouds of ambition towards making life better for all, as well as for yourself. Go forth with your feet firmly planted on the solid ground, plowed by your family, friends, and teachers of your heritage and society. Go to heights quite beyond your present capabilities as you follow the lead of God, who gives faith, wisdom, understanding, and blessings. Go, knowing that what you have received today is yours. And nothing can separate you from the love that we have for you from Randolph-Macon Academy, and most importantly, the love that the great source of all knowledge and wisdom, our master teacher, our Lord, has for each of you. Go in peace. Let's all stand as we sing our closing song, Go to the World. It's found on the back of your head.
We praise and thank you for the gift of our high school journey. It has been a time filled with grace and blessings, with challenges and opportunities, joys and sorrows. The days have passed quickly, O Lord. The weeks, the months, the seasons, the holidays, and holy days. The exams, vacations, breaks, and assemblies, all have come forth from your hand. While we trust that your purposes have always been at work each day, sometimes it has been difficult to understand and appreciate just what you have been up to in our school. Give us the rest and the refreshment we need this summer as we prepare for future endeavors. Let our efforts of this past year bear fruit. Bring all of our plans to a joyful conclusion, and bless us according to your will. With the fulfillment of our summer hopes and dreams, watch over us in the weeks of rest ahead, and guide us each day as you have done this school year. Help us go shine your light wherever we go. May we continue to grow in age, wisdom, knowledge, and grace all the days of our lives. Amen.
I almost had the Father, Colonel Jones, say this, but as you go, remember who you are. So that way, when you go, you might stand firm on the promises of God, stand firm in the hope of this community, and stand firm with your values to go and to shine the light of our Lord to all who might need it along the way. Let us join hands as we do the chapel, and we'll share our benediction. I know you know